welcome to UFO Secret Space. And I'm your host, Lessin, and I'm here with a bunch of people. We're having a panel today with Richard Knight, Susan Johnson, Theresa J. Morris, and Bruce Cornet will be joining us for the second half. So, very exciting show today. We're doing this every Friday from 8 to 10 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, and 3 p.m. Hawaii time. And we have all the time zones because we have people from all the time zones here most of the time. This is not a call-in show. I've had trouble managing these wild people that come on and say profound and first things, so I'm not going to be clicking on the button. I know you have comments. You can write to us at aquarianradio@gmail.com, and if you have a question for me or any of our panel members, we will ask the questions on a future show. And if you want to come on as a little guest with your 5-10 minute story about your encounters with extraterrestrials, I will set up a private call with you to vet you before you come on the show. But that was a big learning curve. Susan was on that show, I think it was last week or the week before, and I can't have profanities. This is a family-oriented show, I think, on some of them. Okay. First, we're going to start with Richard Knight, and Richard's going to talk for about 5 to 10 minutes, and he's going to tell us, who are you, Richard Knight, and what brings you to our round table? The Knights of the Round Table. Wow, isn't that interesting?
This is correct.
Aloha, Richard.
Aloha. How are you, Janet and TJ and Suzanne? I hope you're all having a lovely evening.
I muted them for now because I want you to tell your story uninterrupted for the next 10 minutes. So all eyes and ears on Richard Knight and his story. Take it away.
All right, here goes. First and foremost, I hope this doesn't rock your cradles or blow out your windows, but here comes a big advent. Here comes a big advent at y'all, all right? I come from the 16th dimension, so I am only part human, from the aspect being that my separation from God and the universe has never transpired. I had the full perception of God and the universe upon my birth, and basically it was very useful that was so, because during my early childhood I was subjected to a great deal of abuse, a great deal of rejection, and there were all kinds of craziness going on, while at the same time enjoying the benefit of having 14 senses instead of the regular 5. To give you examples of these, of course, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, the ability to transmute objects by physically gripping them, the ability to heal, the ability to create fire in the palms of my hands, the ability to levitate, and telekinesis for openers. All right? So as you can imagine, if someone like me were to be boarded at a Catholic boarding school, the nuns and the priests were freaking and claiming that I was the son of the devil incarnate. So that was my opening, okay? And there, from that, I represent a long lineage of tradition of both witchcraft and druidism, in which I was being initiated into and brought into the family trad while still being boarded at this Catholic school. So this opened upon me the tremendous curiosity that became insatiable over time to this point in my life, where I now hold 4 doctorates, one in theology, one in divinity, one in religious science, and the other in metaphysics. In addition to my spiritual track, I am also and have been a civil criminal investigator since the age of 19. I am presently now 65, and I hail from the great state of California, from the city of Santa Monica. I have had probably too many supernatural and paranormal experiences to count and detail without actually writing a book, which I have done so, okay? That's how vast and vigorous my experiences in the paranormal, and even in contact with ETs and UFOs as well. So I have a vast array of all kinds of stories and experiences to share, and this has been my background. In other words, I have been living proof of a spiritual being incarnate in the flesh and being very aware of exactly who I am. And as my life and path journey have progressed, of course, I have become very well educated. And in order to back up both my positions in the spirit realm, or the spiritual realm, you could say, and my law enforcement realm, which is criminal justice, I also have an associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree in criminal justice. I have had over 45 years of self-employment as a civil criminal investigator, and I have also worked for the federal government with Department of Justice, the Immigration Department, with over 5 years' experience there, and I have also worked for the State Authority of Georgia as a probation officer, starting out as a probation officer, going to a supervisory probation officer, and eventually taking over an office of 12 probation officers who I audited, schooled, and told right procedure to, over a 3-county area with a caseload of roughly 4,500 juveniles and their families over a 6-year period in 2 different districts. So, in addition to that, I love to write. I'm a poet, a published poet with the International Society of Poets, and have been published in many anthologies and am winning all kinds of awards from that society as far as like Poet of the Year and things of this nature. In addition, I am a very thirsty person when it comes to knowledge. So I have studied in depth all of the various genres of literature in regards to the paranormal and the self-development and the self-awareness, as well as being upon the trip of self-enlightenment, as one would call it, from around 1965 to the present. So that's 55 years in that particular area. In addition to this, I have been studying the martial arts since the age of 9, and I now possess 4 black belts in the martial arts, the highest of which being 5th Dan Grand Master in Kung Fu. I study and was aware of and proficient in 18 styles of the martial arts. I have done black op operations for our federal government, of which I cannot speak because the information is classified. I have done surveillance for the federal government against organized crime, and I have also arrested judges and law enforcement for racketeering, thinking themselves to be above the law and victimizing the general public, and they are all in federal prison now serving a 25-year term. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, good. So you're past the talking stick. Okay, let me just let me turn off my timer. I have a timer so we don't go very long. Okay.
Well, I don't even know how long I was, you know.
It's okay. You were about 8 minutes. That's good.
Okay.
And there's some kind of
That's
feedback.
a happy
Is somebody talking in the background? Is somebody talking in the background?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay.
Would you like me to go outside?
Privacy? I don't know. Just auditory privacy.
Okay, hang on a second.
You could muzzle them.
Well, this wasn't expected. Okay, this was not expected or planned or foreseen.
I see. Okay, that's okay.
It is one of them spontaneous moments, and they are on the phone with a relative long distance, so, you know.
Okay, I understand. Okay, I'm going to put you on mute then, and I'm going to bring on Susan. So, here we go.
So I'll still be able to hear.
Susan. Yes. Okay, Susan. Hold on, the mic is coming on.
Yeah,
Susan.
hello.
So, hi. So, 10 minutes. Tell us your basic story and the top things that you want our listeners to know starting now. About you. Starting now.
Actually, around the age of 5. Yeah, how are you? I'm good.
Good.
Actually, around the age of 5, I had a so-called dream. I don't think it was a dream. I think it was a scout scene, or it was a scene, because most abductees and experiencers, they'll remember it later on as a dream or something, which I found out by speaking to various UFO investigators. But at 5, I had an experience where I thought there was these little kids that were my height. And I figured, oh, good, I could play with them and have somebody to play with. And I started to play with them, and they started shooting lasers at me. And somehow I spontaneously produced a beam out of my hands, and I was pointing my hands at them. And then 2 or 3 of my ET people appeared behind me and vaporized one of them, and the other 3 fled. At 7, I had a recurring dream that we were coming into the Earth's solar system, and we were bouncing off the gravitational fields of the planets before we were entering into the upper stratosphere upper atmosphere of the Earth, and a black hole opened up, and I woke up, and everybody, the other crew, which was a human Nyandan crew instead of an ovoid or an Archeron Nyandan crew, that they were still asleep, and I was awake. I'm a navigator, and I said, shift the mass to the black hole, not away from it, because the physics changes when you go into various different dimensions. And they shift the mass to away from the black hole, and we got obliterated. And I was born here in 1960, and since then that was the dream. I'd wake up and I would be cross-legged, facing the closet, all shooken up. And I had that dream like 3 or 4 times. Then when I was at the library, I would study every paranormal book, psychology book, physics book, UFO book, astronomy, trying to figure out what was happening to me, the special relativity, general relativity, everything. And I accelerated my IQ like about 10 or 20 points. And then I skipped 3 grades in grade school, and I graduated on time in '79 from a public high school. And then I got an AS degree in physics, an AS degree in electronic engineering technology, or electronics for short, AS degree in plant mechanical maintenance with a dean's list, straight A's, AA degree in physics. I got certifications in HAZWOPER, OSHA. I got DOE Core Level 1 certification for RAD protection, which is Radiation Protection Health Physics Tech. I passed the Northeast Utilities Test, which allows you to work at the northeastern power plants as a health physics tech. I have like 25 years senior decontamination experience, and I was also a valve tech and an apprentice boiler maker, and also a laborer. And I was a junior health physics tech for like 3 power plant outages. I'm forcibly retired. I've had ongoing alien experiences all my life. I'm connected with, I remember all my past lives and the original universe of where our people came from. Presently, we're working with it on our own, and we were called in and commissioned by the Universal Council of One, which is seated in Cygnus, the Orion councils and stuff, because they needed our help, because we ended the Lyran Wars. And that's why the Star Wars is based on the Lyran Wars. And when they say the Force be with you, they mean us. We are a unique force. I was told we were a force embodiment. And then back in 2015, and I also work. We came in when we were called in and commissioned. We came in through Taurus, from the other side of Taurus, the Aleactron universe, on the backside of Taurus, through Aldebaran, and what is now the Crab Nebula. It used to be called Bhutan, and it went supernova, and it became the Crab Nebula. And then we were all killed because we were the last group of our kind to stay back to shoot neutral radiation and to the star before it went supernova, to redirect the beam away from the life vein that's running through the sector. And then we succeeded. We tried to get out of there, but we didn't make it in time. And then Orion ship came, and they captured our souls, and they made clones of our bodies, and they reanimated us on board the ship, and blue tubes, silica tubes, or jelly tubes. And then after that, we went to Cygnus, and that's where we settled, and a planet called Archeron, which is either in Cygnus X1 Deneb, or Beta Sig or Gamma Cygni, or it could Lambda Cygni, or it could have been R4 or Sat R4 or something. 2 or 3 planets, and they hosted us, and they allowed us to stay there. That's 2 or 3 of the planets we live on. We come from the Urfactinum Urfactianum universe, and back in 2014, I was told that symbol on my right ankle means Urfactinum Urfactianum. And when I did some spiritual work, I went on the spiritual website and I looked at symbols